But I have to tell all of you that Ozymandias is probably the most devastating hour of TV I've ever seen, in a good way, but it destroyed me no less as a human being. It was incredible. Did you know when you were making it, in the writing and the pitching and the breaking and the filming, did you guys know how, like, a lot of my friends are critics, and I'm sure you've seen this, having people saying this, it's one of the best hours of television ever made. So
I think so.
Hats off to all of you.
So. And it was, in the breaking, as always, a group effort, but then Moira wrote just the living hell out of the episode. Just wrote a great, great hour.
We, you know, I got lucky because it was the episode where we paid off so many things, where we destroyed so much, where plot points that we had been building towards combusted, escalated. You know, it was, we knew that it was going to be a massive episode in terms of event.
And you had luckily had worked, the two of you, the first two, writing an episode together, working with Ryan Johnson as a director.
A couple of times, right?
Yeah.
This is his third.
This was his third.
Unknown.
Ryan Johnson.
What happened to Ryan Johnson?
Yeah. He hasn't worked in television since.
Not at all.
Ryan realized that episode so brilliantly. I mean, it was just,
all of them, all three did, but man, he just crushed it. What was it like working with him?
With Ryan?
Yeah.
He's a blast. He's a maniac, he's a brainiac, he knows exactly what he wants, and he, you know, has his little notebook where he stick figure draws all his shots. And, you know, there's nothing that he hasn't thought of. And he was the one who came up with that incredible moment in Ozymandias out in the desert after Hank is killed mercilessly by Jack, and Walt's hands are tied behind his back, and he falls in slow motion. His whole side body falls, and his face lands on the cracked earth, like in the, you know, and the
there was cracks, right?
And Ryan had the art department and VFX guys design like these puzzle pieces that we covered in dirt that were flipped by a trigger, so that when they were together like this on the ground, and when Walt's face hit, they disassembled just a quarter of an inch, and a puff of smoke, of dust went poof, so that it was as if, you know, the man was shattering the very earth upon which he fell because of all his cumulative actions.
Which brings you into the title of it, Ozymandias, is about the statue in the desert. Yeah.
We had talked about that in the final season as being an excellent metaphor for what was to come.
Great poem. Great.
But it's interesting, so much of the show visually and thematically, the wide open spaces, these vistas. But in Ozymandias, there's that scene which is the most, is quite intimate scene, but it's a scene of violence where he says, you know, we're a family.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
the knife fight.
That's such a it's such a distillation of those specific people, but it was so powerfully staged. I mean, was it exactly how you envisioned it in your mind? Is that how the Ryan and the cast brought it to life, or was it pretty much?
Yeah, it was really miraculously just as we had imagined it in the room. And
does he say it twice, and the second time his voice cracks?
Yeah.
And it's the knife?
It's almost like the second time he says it. Yeah, the second time he says it, it's quieter. It's like he sort of blurts it out like it's obvious. And then he sort of says it again, almost to reassure himself, as it's all crumbling in front of him. And Walter Jr. is staving him off and calling the police, and Skylar's baby's crying. And he's cut, and he just can't believe that any of this has transpired.
And it's the same knife he used several seasons before, spent all night by the window looking out, hoping Tuco was not going to show up, but that was all he had to defend the family with. And then
those little things are things I'm really proud
me too.
Of. Our little things that we dropped in, that we connected season after season, that might not pay off for years, that we always circle back to.
Yeah, me too. And you designed, Ryan Johnson, in Ozymandias, you designed a chessboard for him, right? What was that?
Well, I designed, you know, I think Moira texted me and said, can you create a scenario where
where the king is trapped, and I just took a picture of my chessboard of it and sent it to them. I
Tom was very handy throughout this whole adventure.
They copied the...
Because Tom drew the Walt Whitman sketch.
I did do that.
Oh, that's right. The actual prop that you see on screen was drawn by none other than Mr. Schnauz.
While we were in the room breaking an episode.
He did it twice because he did it the first time on a yellow legal pad, and then we were like,
copy that. So
"Can you just like do it again?" And perfect.